Second hour, WEEI. KJ, thank you so much for spending your Saturday here. 617-779-7937. Text line 37937. That's Jeremy Fowler saying, look, the Patriots are waiting for a friend on offense because they need it. DeAndre Hopkins, Dalvin Cook. It's kind of a fascinating debate that the fan base is having with each other. Some are saying both. I'm like, okay, we can't be New England greedy. Just because for some of us, your entire lives, you've known a winner. Some people remember when there was 4 quarterbacks here, and it wasn't pretty at all. And others are kind of like, and this is the side I'm on, I'll get to in a bit, is maybe Dalvin Cook is more reasonable and more strategically correct than DeAndre Hopkins. Here's why. Justin Mac Jones is 2 years. His first year, the team was 6th in points offensively, 15th in yards. Last year, 17th in points, 26th in yards. That's like going from a C+ to an F. And the reason why you get concerned when you go from a C+ to an F is because you felt like you were on the brink of a breakthrough, and now you might have to fix a failure. I don't think you do that by chucking the ball in the air to appease a brand new number 1 receiver. Okay, KJ, but still, they need a number 1 receiver last year. Look, rushing last year, the Patriots 22nd in touchdowns, 24th in yards, 22nd in attempts in rushing. Does that sound like Bill Belichick ball with the current structure you have? No. The passing, 19th in touchdowns, 20th in yards, 21st in attempts. Technically, the running game ranked worse across the league than the passing game. This is why I say, if you look at Dalvin Cook, pair him with Stevenson, now you don't have as much pressure on the passing game, which never really existed before, right? That really hasn't. There has not been a pressure on Mac Jones to use his arm to win games since he's been here. There's been no demand to say we need to ride your arm for 3. We need 14 straight on your arm. That's all we're doing. No, that's what defenses wanted the game to get to. So if you believe that DeAndre Hopkins is the one answer, I say no, it's Dalvin Cook. I mean, you think of Patriot way. Number 1, manage expectations. If DeAndre Hopkins is here, suddenly Mac Jones is throwing for 5,000 yards? No. You think that, okay, well, no, if anything, he's the one receiver that defenses hone in on now. You know what you're going to get with Juju Smith-Schuster across the middle and running those routes. Gesicki's going to be pretty much there. Hopefully you get more out of Hunter Henry. But we're still talking about an underneath game. So with Dalvin Cook, and reports coming in saying like he's not willing to accept the current contract offer, according to Dov Kleiman, I think what he's looking at in front of him is something that's going to stop the contract. He's 27 now. That's going to stop him when he's 30. I think he's looking for something, I'm talking about Dalvin Cook, that's going to get him to 31. Now, keep in mind, he showed improved last year because what the Vikings left on the table was $10 million in base salary and then another $11 million over the next 2 seasons. They in his extension, they paid him for 3, let him go for the last 2. Played in all 17 games last year. Rushed over 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. If you add that pedigree to Ramondre Stevenson, does it matter who the wide receiving core is? Mac is going to look good. Because now if you tell me, hey, you've got a better running game than Mac had his rookie year, and then add it with Bill O'Brien and the things that he's probably adding to, you've got something. You now have a defense that has to respect the run, and whoever the receivers are out there, I don't care if it's Parker, Smith-Schuster, Thornton, those guys are going to get open. Gesicki, those guys, especially Gesicki. If you're trying to stop the run of either Dalvin Cook or Ramondre Stevenson up the middle, you're bringing 8 men in the box. You don't think Gesicki gets far, gets across and goes far? Hunter Henry could get stuff. now you open up so many things where I think now you step into Mac Jones' strength. Acumen. I think his acumen is up there. I just think it's a matter of confidence. And the only thing I think that really builds his confidence this year is a very super strong 1-2 running game punch than it is getting one receiver. Because what you hate to see injury, right? But let's just say D-Hop tweaks an ankle. Right? What? Maybe he's out a game or two. Well, in this league, a game or two is you're getting close to 10% of law. 10% of you're out 2 games, you're out for at least 10% of the games. But if you've got that running game behind you, and let's just say Cook gets nicked or Stevenson get nicked, we've seen how that's worked out when Damian Harris was here, that Damian Harris would eventually become the number 2 behind Stevenson, and you had still somewhat of a 1-2 punch. Just kind of they changed roles. Stevenson was your leading receiver last year. Leading rusher last year. You don't want to go into the season thinking like, hey, this is what we've got to do once again. Because if that's the case, 3rd and 7s are going to be rampant. And again, you don't want to get yourself into a situation where Mac Jones has got to hone in on a superstar receiver, knowing that everybody's thinking he's honing in on him, or the unaddressed offensive line, which has been addressed somewhat, and it's still to be determined. But if you can only go by what they had last year, you're not going to have a whole lot of time. So on a 3rd and 7 or a 3rd and 10, Mac's going to need time in the pocket. And if you don't have that protection or even the respect of a running game for people to say, okay, I've got to make sure that this isn't some type of play action or a draw play, they're just going to peel their ears back and just head straight in. If you know that your eyes are going to be locked on one guy, maybe 2, and you haven't been able to establish a running game. 617-779-7937, text line 37937. I'll get more into why I think Dalvin Cook is the answer more so than D-Hop, why D-Hop isn't so much the answer, and why I think that he's got eyes on somewhere else as well. Plus the whole overview of what's going on with the Patriots and upstairs with Bob and Bill, and it's a bit messy. KJ here, WEEI, 617-779-7937. Text line 37937. Now time to trend with Brian Ferzucco.